I'm designing a brand new quilt using leftovers with EQ8. So come join me.
Good morning, gifted crafters. It's crafting time.
Me and my friends are having a great time. It's not face to face, it's all online. We're all in our homes, miles away. Love them like my family, what can I say? My crafting show is on, it's my time for me. Laughter, tips and tricks, this is what I need. We're here to have fun, we're all in the zone. When crafting with friends, you'll never...
Live from the Sunshine State in Miami, Florida, here is the Gifted Crafters Morning Show with Nancy.
Let's have a good time. Ooh, time to get our craft on. Ooh, time to have fun. Ooh, time to feel good.
Hey, Gifted Crafters, good morning and welcome back to the Gifted Crafters Morning Show. Good morning out there. I hope everyone is having a fantastic morning today. And we've got people that tune in from all over the world. So if you're tuning in for the first time, I'll introduce myself. My name is Nancy with Gifts HQ, and on this channel, we just talk about everything crafting and we have tons of fun doing it together. So I hope you are into sewing, knitting, crocheting, decoupage, any of that stuff, so much more. Any type of craft, we like to play around with it, and we like to do little demos, share lots of little tips and tricks, and do all kinds of fun things together. So it's a great way to start your morning and just, get a little giggle in your day before you really get into the day. All right, let's see who we have with us this morning. I see Bettina. Bettina, how are you? Hope you're doing well, my dear friend. Let's see, we've got Barb Chumley. Okay, 43 degrees this morning from Central Illinois. That's a little chilly. Not as chilly as here. It's warmed up quite a bit here, I can tell you. It's actually, let me see here. What is it at today? Oh, do you have it up? It's going to be a high of 76 today, low 53. Yeah. Don't think we're quite at the 76 yet. That'll probably be more likely this afternoon. But yeah, it's warmed up quite a bit and we're getting a little bit better here. All right, let's see who else we have. We've got Faker McFake. Good morning to you. We've got Lisa Lilly from Richmond, Illinois. Good morning. We've got Cindy Ball. She's dragging her feet this morning. Well, I hope Mr. H is dragging his feet as well, but hopefully we'll get you guys going just a little bit. All right, try to keep up with us here. All right, Sue Galvin, and that goes to you too, Mr. H there. We've got Terry from Ohio. Good morning. Let's see. We've got Faith Hughes, good morning to you. We've got our friends from Canada. Good morning. Hope you guys are staying nice and warm. We've got Lori from Forest, Virginia. Good morning. JBL from Alabama. Robin's Quilt Basket. Good morning to you. Let's see. We've got Deborah Bile. Good morning. You won't be able to stay long. You're going fabric shopping with a friend. Well, have a fantastic day. Awesome. Keep in mind all the projects that we're doing. Try to get yourself some great fabric and get a good deal on it, okay? We've got Marge Roach. Good morning to you from Wisconsin. We've got Barbara from Ohio. Good morning. Jenny Owens. Good morning. We've got Jamie. Good morning from Minnesota. And Kyle. Good morning to you. Quilting with Harriet. Hey, good morning. How are you, Harriet? Let's see. Melinda. Good morning to you. E. Collins from Gainesville, Virginia. Awesome. Thanks for joining. We've got Jaws Mom from Virginia. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning from Northern Virginia. It's warmer there today, 27 degrees currently. Awesome. I hope it continues to get a little warmer there. And Joanna from Wyoming, good morning. Thanks for joining. Sharon Lemons, good morning to you. Okay, guys, you get the idea. We've got people tuning in from all over the world. And it's really amazing how we can get our crafters together and have a little fun every morning. So if you are tuning in for the first time, we are here daily, Monday through Friday, and we have a great time. So first things first, we got to have our little toast at the beginning of every session. We like to do that. So go ahead and grab a cup of whatever it is you have in the morning, coffee, tea, soda, water. You guys know the drill. Go ahead and raise your glasses nice and high. And let's have a little toast to getting up and rise and shining and getting a little energy in your day, because I think you guys are a little sluggish and you may need it. So go ahead and raise your glasses nice and high. If you don't have something to drink, I will pour you a cup. No worries. Go ahead and raise them, and cheers, everyone. Go ahead and grab a little swivel there. Yes, I see Heather Kaufman says, happy Tuesday, and cheers to everyone. Yay. Awesome. Okay. All right. I hope everybody is, just kind of, up and about, and that hopefully will kind of wake you up just a little bit. Okay. So, hey, Faker McFay, having a little technical issues typing, huh? Belinda, good morning from Chicago, Illinois. Awesome. Okay. All right, guys, I think we are ready. Let's just go ahead and grab some snacks, shall we? We want to get all of this stuff out of the way because we got to get all our snacks and get ourselves nice and cozy and ready to go, because we've got an exciting session today. I want to talk a little bit more about EQ8, and I want to kind of level set on some of these scraps that we had in our last big quilt that we did, and we don't want to just kind of toss them away or throw them in a bin somewhere. I want to actually use them, and I want to try to use EQ8 to make a quilt, and I'm going to take you along with me to do just that. All right, guys, so it's getting a little warm in Miami, so let's go ahead and stretch and walk over to our food cart, shall we? Now, don't forget to put your orders in. We'll still have the drone available, but go ahead and put your little orders into the cart. We've got everything on that cart, so no worries. They even have some little Valentine's Day snacks that are going on here. Really, really cute. You may want to grab a muffin or cupcake or two. We've got everything on here. Cookies, croissants. Don't forget, we also have our little Cupid. Yes, Cupid is there, and she's here to stay because, Valentine's is coming up pretty quickly. So don't have those little gifts out and ready to go. I know the little grandchildren are waiting for those too. So go ahead and, make those little projects, have them all ready, because that's coming up pretty quickly. So don't wait for the last minute. Okay, hope you guys grabbed all your snacks. We even had healthy stuff in there, so I hope you grabbed a little healthy snack or two for your day. And then go ahead and, once you have all your snacks, get yourself in your little cozy spot, because we are ready to begin. As you can see, I've got my laptop here ready to go. Are you okay over there?
I'm alive.
You're alive? I know, he's a little wishy-washy this morning. Yeah, eat your oatmeal. There we go. Have some oatmeal. There you go. All right, so I've got my laptop open here, and I've got a couple of scraps as well. Now, these are all just leftover scraps. These are some blocks that we did when we were doing the cottage house quilt. And so we had quite a few here left, actually a total of 9 So there's 9 little blocks that we had put together, and the instructions indicated that you would have these left over. So you can definitely make something with it. And so I wanted to kind of show you guys how easy it would be for you to go ahead and use EQ8 to kind of design something with whatever leftover scraps you have. So, you know, I hate to let scraps kind of go to waste. So I want to kind of upcycle, recycle, and use these, I guess, right? So we're going to do that with the EQ8 program. But before we get to that, let me give you a little recap of what is coming up and what I have been planning out for kind of, I guess, the rest of this week, a couple of coming weeks and months. So I've got my planner here, and I've been looking at a few of the books. You guys know I have a nice little stash of books over there of all kinds of things, and there's one in particular that caught my eye. So this is a book called Quilt As You Go, Made Vintage, and I'll put it over here, you can see. And there is one specific quilt on here that caught my eye, and I think it looks pretty simple, and I want to try to go ahead and do it. It's not a huge quilt, although you can make it really big if you wanted to. There's all different sizes that are available on here, but I'm going to be picking, there's 2 blocks that make up the entire quilt, and I think they're really simple, very easy, and it's something that you can use your own little inventory of fabrics to use. So grab your collections that you have out there and let's try to make a quilt with it. So again, this book right here, you can pick it up at the Fat Quarter Shop. They do have it available. Links are below if you're interested in getting the book. It's a really nice book because it's got 51 different blocks that you can do. It says 9 projects, but it's actually a whole lot more. And they've got 3 different joining methods that they kind of introduce to you in the book as well. So I think it's pretty neat. And I'll just kind of flip through this really quickly so you can see a couple of the options. You can see it's got a lot of illustrations on here, and I think it does a really good job in terms of the instructions and what you can do with it. So it really kind of gives out a lot of really details on here. So here's one that looks very familiar, like with the block that we just have here. So I'll grab my little scrap. Very familiar, right? And so here's yet another quilt that you can do. But interestingly, this one uses cuttle. So they use some cuttle fabric here, and then they use just regular quilting cotton. So they kind of mix it up, and then the back side, I believe it's all cuddles. And I think that's a nice way to kind of do something just a little bit different. So I thought that was quite interesting too. That might be something that I may try in the future. But I am really interested in this one. It just kind of caught my eye, and I think it's just beautiful. It's called Lucky Star. I'll bring it up so you can get a closer look at it. And it really is gorgeous. I love the colors on here, so I'm going to try to match that color palette with my stash, and I think this will be a fun one to do. The finished size on this quilt is 36.5 by 36.5, so not too big, right? It's a little bit of a wall hanging that you can make here, and I think it's really gorgeous, although you can continue it on and make it into a larger size quilt. So I thought this was really gorgeous. This is one that I definitely want to make. Again, it is made up of 2, oops, sorry guys. It is made up of 2 different blocks, and these are the 2 blocks that it makes up the entire quilt. And it's pretty simple. There's not too much complexity here. Lots of half square triangles on here. The real challenge on this piece is really just lining them up and making sure that they're all aligned. So accuracy is really the key. So if you really want to practice on some of that, you know, not having a complex square to put together, but just really focus on accuracy and trying to get things accurate. This is, I think, a really nice project to do. And so it looks here pretty simple, but not everything is too simple, right? Because you do have to line these up. So it's a nice quilt to practice that technique. And it uses about 9 to 10 different fat quarters. It's got all the sizing in terms of the backing, the binding, and the background on here. But the book itself is really nice. I really love how it displays the quilts. And then it has a whole section just on blocks. And so it'll basically show you the block on the top and tell you how the block is made. And you can mix and match all these different blocks and make up your own quilt. And it's just really a nice resource to have if you kind of are in a slump and not sure what to do anymore. You know, these are the kinds of books that I think really inspire you and kind of get you to be able to be creative and take a couple of blocks and put them together, and you can make your own quilt. I think this is really, really neat. So I know some of you guys can do some of these quilts in your sleep because we've got some experienced people out there, but I'm not sure if everyone is using EQ8 to do some of this stuff. So what I want to do today is kind of take some of these and look at EQ8 and see what different things can we make, what different designs can we pull together, and then go ahead and, you know, make something with that. Oh, Faith says she loves that book. You made a king size sampler quilt from, yeah, it's got a gorgeous, and let me see if I can find that page. It's got a really gorgeous sampler quilt right in the beginning. Let's see. I thought about it and then I said, no, I thought it would just take too long. I think it's this one here. So this is the sampler quilt that she is talking about. And it is gorgeous. It's got all kinds of different blocks on here. And I love the color scheme that they put together. Very, very nice. Various different techniques on here for all different blocks. You can take all the blocks that they show you how to do and you can make the sampler quilt. So that's another item that you can do. But yeah, I'm really happy with this book. I think it's very, very nice. It has a beautiful dedication in the beginning of the book. And that dedication page, I read through it. I think it's just very, very sweet. This was the first book that she put out. I think she did a fantastic job. So very, very nice. Let's see. Can you use, Bettina's asking, can you use AccuQuilt to make a block? Well, I don't have AccuQuilt, but I'm sure you can. I'm pretty sure, yeah. These are some pretty basic, simple shapes and cutouts that you can do. You could probably even use your scan and cut to cut the fabric for you if you'd like. So yeah, I wouldn't think that it could not do it. I think it can. Okay, some of the other things, because I am thinking ahead for 4th of July, and I know they've got, you know, the 250th, it's out there, it's all over the place. Everyone's doing some type of a huge quilt. And I think I'm going to keep mine small. I want to keep something simple. So I've been scouring the internet and my books, looking at all kinds of things, trying to find some different projects to do. And Sue Galvin came up with an idea to, you know, to keep things small. And I think she's right. We're going to try to keep our projects really small. I'm not going to do a huge quilt for the 250th. I'm going to try to keep them small, maybe some embroidery projects, maybe some small quilting ideas, little things that we can put together. And I am looking at some books for some inspiration. This is one that I have. It's by Annie's Quilting. It's called Americana Quilts, and they've got some really cute ideas on here. So I may try to see if I can do something like table runners, you know, towels, all kinds of things that you can come up with. And I'm just looking at these books for inspiration. This is a second one called Beyond the Battlefield. I think they do another great job as well, and it shows a little bit of a history on it as well. Really gorgeous. They have some really nice quilts on here, but I'm going to try to keep it really simple and do small projects. I'll just use these for inspirations. And And by simple, I'm hoping to also keep it within the budget. Hopefully. Yeah, I think Mr. H likes that part. Yes, we will keep it in the budget, and we will try to use the stash that we have, because, you know, the great thing about especially red fabric, okay? Think about this. For red fabric, you use it for Christmas, right? You use it for Valentine's Day. You use it for 4th of July. So if you don't have red fabric in your stash, consider getting it, because just 3 holidays you can get out of red fabric, you know. So I have quite a lot of red in my stash. And I should say stash, I should say my collection has, yeah, my collection has a lot of red in it, only because there's 3 holidays that you can use that. So it always gets used, right? And so there's certain fabric colors that you're going to use, like white on white, right? We use that for a lot of things. So there's certain colors in your collection you're going to have that's really going to be, you're going to have a lot of, right? So you can definitely, you know, kind of look at it in that kind of way. So you can know that, yeah, I'm spending a lot on red, but I'm using it for 3 different holidays, right? So yeah. You love all things red, white, and blue. Awesome. Awesome, Karen. All right, and baby quilts are your favorite because of the size. Yeah, Cindy. And that's, I don't want to make it bigger than a baby quilt. Let's put it that way. I'm going to keep all these projects kind of small. That way, you know, every once in a while we'll have a big one, but I want to try to keep a lot of the projects small so that, you know, they're done fairly quickly as well. Nancy, Labor Day and Memorial Day too. Absolutely. President's Day as well, right? We've got a lot of red. You use a lot of red. Mother's Day can also be red fabric. Yes, absolutely, Faker McFake. Yeah, she's right. Yeah, definitely. You know, all kinds of different holidays use the color red. So that's just one particular colored fabric that you're going to have in your collection, and you're going to have a lot of it. We use green a lot too, right? Green for Christmas, green for St. Patrick's Day, things like that. But I think red is really the fabric that really takes the cake. Yeah, Flag Day, there's another one. Yeah, we can go sit here and just go through a whole bunch of holidays. Okay, so these are the books that I'm using to get some inspiration from, but I am definitely going to be doing this quilt as you go. We're going to try to do these coming up soon, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of look at my collection over there and see what fabrics I can choose to go ahead and make the quilt that we were looking at here, because I just love it. I think it's just so gorgeous. I mean, lucky star. It's really, really a nice quilt. And it's really a great way for me to practice accuracy on that. So that's what I'm going to use for this. The other books I'm just using for inspiration. I guess Mr. H will put the links on those if you guys are interested in that. But those are just really for inspiration that I'm going to be using. The other one, Strawberry Garden, is another book that I have been looking through. Not quite sure what I'm going to be using for this one just yet, but do have it, and very beautiful stuff. I think I may wait a little bit for some summertime to kind of grab some of these as well. So those are just some of my favorite little books that are out there that I use for inspiration. So now let's get into EQ8, shall we? Because I've got a lot of things to show you on here. So I've got my laptop here. I'm going to pull this over just a tad, and we're going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we're going to dive right into EQ8, shall we? All right, so this is what the icon looks like. Once you get the program, you can go ahead and double click on that. It'll go ahead and open on you. And EQ8 is just really a nice program to help you design all kinds of quilts, from paper piecing blocks. If you want to just do blocks, you can do blocks, you can do quilts. And they've got a whole range of things that it helps you with, not just regular quilts, but also paper piecing ones as well. It can print out templates for you, give you it'll basically tell you how much fabric you need for each block, cutting instructions, all kinds of things. Really is a nice program, and it is really user friendly too. So I've only had this now, oh, I don't know, I don't remember exactly when I got it, but then my computer kind of went kaput and I haven't been able to kind of get it back. And so now I am on a different computer and got it back, and starting to kind of work my way back in, because I kind of lost everything that I had in terms of projects. I didn't save any of them. So I'm just starting anew, and I'm okay with that. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. So you've got your home page on here. It gives you tips of the day that you can kind of read through and scroll through here. You can get the latest information at electricquilt.com, right? And they've got all kinds of things that they do. They send you little newsletters and things with all kinds of things that you can load, new fabrics, things like that. Really, really amazing how they continually upgrade and do new things on this. So link for the software is in the video description in case you are interested, but you can go ahead and scroll through all of the different tips because they change all the time. So we're just going to go ahead and do something really basic. We're just going to design the quilt from scratch. So let's go ahead and click that option. That here is going to land you into the home page of when you are creating a new quilt. So you've got all kinds of different options here on the top. We did a little video and we walked through a lot of these options on here. So I'm not going to go through all of the options again. We're just going to go straight into making the quilt. And hopefully that'll kind of give you a little bit of information on here. So here is the home page. You've got all different options that you can take for your quilt. You can do a horizontal quilt, on point, variable point, baby blocks. Like these are all different types that you can make with just one little click. And if you click on the arrow, there's a ton more that you can do. We're just going to stick with the real basic with horizontal on here. And then we're just going to go on over once you've got what your quilt's going to look like here. You're just going to start going into the layout. So I know it's horizontal because I have my scraps, right? I've got my scraps from my quilt and I already know what I want it to look like because I am using these scraps. Let's see here. Hold on. Okay, it's going away. So on here, we've got layout. So once you click on layout, it's got all this information here that you can put in. And basically, I already know just from what I have left over that I have 9 blocks here. And each block is measuring at about, I would say 6.5 inches on here. And so that's what I have. So I think I want to trim them down because I do have the little tail sticking out, like nothing has been trimmed off. So I think what I can do is I can say that I want my blocks to be about, we're just going to go about 6 inches. We're going to say we want 6-inch blocks because we know we have 6.5 here already. And all of these, again, these are all scraps from that big quilt that we did before. So what I want to do now is I want to go over to the side here. And it's got some information that it's asking me to put in, and it's very dynamic. So as you change the information here on the side, you're going to see this side over here change as well. Okay, so it will continually make changes as you can make the changes. So you can visually see what you're inputting on the side here and how it's going to look over here on the end. So let's go ahead. It's asking how many blocks would you like, horizontal and vertical? Well, I know I have a total of 9 blocks on here. So I'm going to go ahead and change this horizontal to be 3 going across, and I want 3 going down. So 3, 6, 9. There's my 9 blocks. It's going to be a little table topper, right? Is what basically what we're going to make. But of course, you can make it as big or as small as you like. So you can add as many blocks as you want on here. And it's already kind of interacted with you and it's showing you what it's going to look like. So maybe you're looking at this and saying, well, maybe this is not something that I want. Maybe I want it to be a little bigger. You can add more blocks either by typing the number in or just using the little arrows to change that, right? But we're looking to do a little table topper, maybe a pillow, you know, that's about the size of what we're going to get. And it's only because I'm just using the scraps that are left over from that project. If I wanted to add something a little bit more to it, I can make it bigger or smaller, right? Okay. Let's see here. Now it's asking me about the finished size of the block. What size do you want your block to be? This is the finished size before you do any type of sewing in between the seams. So we know that if you use a 1/4 inch seam, if that's what you want to use, or if you can use an 1/8 of an inch or a 1/2 inch, whatever seam allowance is that you want to use, you'll have to kind of see what size do you want that block to look like after it's already been sewn together. So that's what they mean by the finished size. And we know that I want my finished size to be about 6 inches. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and type in 6. But then I'm also going to go ahead and click this. And I'm going to say keep the height and the width equal. So I went ahead and typed it first, so I'll go ahead and click that. But I want to go ahead and keep these equal. So whatever my finished size is, I want the width and the height to be equal. So I want it to be squared is basically what that's saying. So I check that off. And now if I make any changes, let's say I decide, well, maybe I want to make it 7 inches. You can see how the top and the bottom changed because I have that checked off. Okay, so it will keep this totally squared at 7 inches here. Now I want to do 6 inches, so I'm going to go back and change that to 6, and you'll see how this changed over here on the side. So always check this off if you want to keep the width and the height equal and you want to keep that squared. That's going to help you to do that. Okay, so let's scroll down just a little bit because we're going to talk about sashing now. So now it's asking you about the finished size of the sashing. Do you want to include a sash border? And if you want sashing, what is the width and the height going to be? Well, we want to keep the width and the height equal because I want it to be a square around the actual block. So maybe we're going to do some sashing all around the block here, right? So let's say I want my sashing to be, I don't want it to be too big. So let's just go with the 1 inch sashing. See how my the picture changed here? Now it's got sashing all the way around. And I can say include a sash border on here. There it goes. So now I've got a quilt with sashing going all around the block here. So maybe I want the sashing, maybe I don't. You can change it all around and play with it, just to kind of see what you would get. But let's we can leave it like this. We can come back and change it later. Let's leave this layout exactly how it is for now. And let's just go over to our next tab on the top, and we're going to look at some borders. So borders, you can see how the picture has changed and it's graying out the borders. It's letting you know, hey, these are your borders. What do you want to do with these borders? Do you want to change them around? You can make them thicker borders. You can do a different style border. You can do miters. You've got all kinds of options here on the top. You can do some cornered borders, right? You can do long vertical, long horizontal. You can do blocks if you want, or you can do half drop blocks, right? There's so many different options. Like you can click on this little arrow here and you can see all the options. You've got diamonds that you can do. There's so many. There's double diamonds. There's big and little diamonds, so you can go here and you can just kind of really see how many different options are on. It's kind of endless. It just kind of goes on and on and on. So really amazing on all the options that you have. So we can do some tiles even if you wanted to. And of course you can make these borders as thin or as thick as you like. Now we're going to keep this really, really simple. And I'm just going to go with, let's just go with the long horizontal or with the mitered. You know, I'm not sure what I want to see on that. So let's look at that. Yeah, we think that's way too big, right? And maybe we don't want a border. So maybe we're going to just delete that and not have a border at all, right? And so you can go ahead and change it around and play around with it. Well, it's going to stick with not having a border because I really liked how the sashing kind of closes it all in. So let's kind of move on and see what else we can do. I'm going to flip over to the design tab. And here in the design tab is where you can really have a ton of fun. There's so many different options that you can do here. So as you can see, I've got a few blocks over here that are already here and ready to go because I've used this before and it kind of knows your favorites and it kind of sees what you have used last. And so it'll keep them out here for you, which is pretty nice. Or you can open the library, and the library is just a phenomenal place to go in and really have a ton of fun. There's all these standard blocks, different blocks, baskets, chains. I mean, this has a ton of different blocks on here to help you design your quilt. And they are constantly updating this and adding more and more and more all the time. I mean, this kind of goes on and on and on, and there's tons of subfolders in here that have even more. So the choices are really endless on this, and it's really nice for you to be able to pick all kinds of things. There's other things that you can do with this as well. You can import some items, you can do sketches, things like that. I mean, you can do photos. I mean, there's so many things. It's just really, really nice. It's got that import option on here and allows you to be able to import some of your designs on here, which is really nice. You've got all kinds of different options. In the background here, you'll see you had the initial option when we first came in was to create a quilt, but you can also create a block or an image, which is really nice. Oh, Terry says, I had the first EQ. It's come a long way. Yeah. Is the program Mac friendly? Yes, it is compatible with Mac computers. So you can use it for Mac as well. So yeah, I have Windows, but it is compatible with Mac. Okay. Any other questions out there? No, we're good. Okay. So yeah, I think you guys get the idea. There's just so many options that you can do. I mean, you can just go crazy with this. And, you know, it's really nice to kind of sit here and design your own quilt. Know that you have completed a quilt all the way from the design of the quilt all the way through to the end. I mean, it's really nice to say, hey, I designed this quilt, I made this, it's totally me. You can personalize it so much and really make it your own, which I think is really nice. Do you get to add color to your squares? You certainly do, Cindy, and I'm going to show you that right now. So let's go back here. I've got a couple of squares that I have used, so I've pulled them from the library, and this one is pretty close to what we are making here. So I'm going to click on it. That's the square I want to use, and you see how my cursor here has changed, and I can place this anywhere on the quilt. So I'm going to go ahead and just put it on the first square, and you can see that it has come here, but I know I've got 9 of these and I'm lazy. I don't want to click 9 times to put them in the square. So what I can do is hold, I believe it's my control key down, and I click on it, and there you go. I just completely put all the squares in my quilt, right? So all of them are there. Now, of course, maybe I don't want them to all be aligned the same way, going up and down like this, right? Maybe I want to change things up. You've got different options that you can do with this as well. Marina says, can you create using a panel? Yes, you can. you can create, you can design, you can plan your quilts featuring all kinds of different fabric panels in EQ8. So what you can do is you import the images of the panels and you treat them as fabrics or as photo blocks. And that's how you can do that in here. So it's pretty amazing. I mean, the options and the ability that this program has is really nice. So this is like, I almost want to say, a lot of people refer to Embrilliance as the embroidery software for lots of people, very user-friendly to use for embroidery. This is like the quilting version of that. It's really user-friendly, really nice to use, and it really gives you a lot of power to create different things with your quilt. Let's see. Sue's asking, does it give you the fabric requirements for the blocks? Yes, it does. It does. And when you print out your design, I'll show you, well, I only printed the one. When you're done designing your quilt, you can do a little printout, right? So this is a little printout of what I was playing with last night. And it also gives you other options to print out the fabric requirements, cutting instructions, things like that. Like there's a whole bunch of instructions. So this is designed if I wanted to do a class on how to make a quilt and I've designed it on here, I can have this printed out for me, and then it'll give me all the instructions that I'm going to need to give to all my class participants. It gives you the yardage estimates, cutting charts for the blocks. It calculates the fabric that you need for individual blocks as well as for the entire quilt blocks, the borders, just on and on and on. It really gives you a lot of information. It's a very powerful tool, and I think it's really, really user friendly. You just have to kind of take the time to get to know it and understand what the options are. But I think it's very, very, very nice. Okay. So let's get back to this because we've got this quilt here, and yeah, I can leave it like that and, you know, do all kinds of things on here. But I also want to kind of, take a look at these blocks here, and I want to rotate them. So I'm going to go to my rotate option, and I can go ahead and rotate some of these blocks. So maybe I want to kind of rotate this one, and maybe I want to kind of rotate these here and just kind of have it a little bit different, right? So you have that ability to rotate the blocks around, move them around. You've got symmetry options. You can do so many different things on here. Now, let's take a look at this eyedropper here, because that's another thing. Oh, well, actually, you know what? Before we get to that, before we get to the eyedropper, let's go back here. And we're going to look at some fabric tools. Let's take a look at that because I think Cindy had a question on that. So when you go to fabric tools, okay, fabric tools is where you can spend hours on, right? Like the program can be a little addicting. Like it'll get you there and it'll help you sit down for quite a while. Yeah, it's got so many options and your ideas start flowing through your head and you want to try so many different things that, you know, in this particular tab for the design tab, you've got your photo tools. You can add photos on here. You've got your thread. It actually looks at the thread colors and you can play around with that as well. So it thinks of everything. It thinks of everything when you are doing a quilt, and this is really nice that it can do that. So what you can do on here is you can look at fabrics and you can look at colors, and they are constantly upgrading. And what you can do is they'll send you an email with some new fabrics that are out, right? And you can take those fabrics and upload them. And so you'll have the collection, you'll know what collection it is, and you can play with the fabrics from that collection and put them on your quilt right here. Now, if you don't have a specific collection or fabric in mind, and maybe you just want to play with color and you haven't really thought about what designed fabric you want to use, then you can go straight into the colors and you can just play with colors alone. So there's different options, you know, on your budget as well. Maybe you don't want to spend money on your collection and you want to use your own collection that you have at home. Then you can go ahead and pick the colors option, play around with the colors, see what fabrics you have, take pictures of your fabric and kind of put them into the program. That's another option that you can do. So, you know, you can kind of keep your inventory of your collection within the program so that you can kind of make quilts with what you have, which is really, really amazing. Okay, so let's, another question?
A close-up of your printout.
You want to see a close-up of the printout? Sure. Let me bring it over to the desk cam. So don't mind my printer has these little black specks. That is my printer, and we're just haven't had the time to even address it. But this is what it looks like, and you can see in this particular option, I used the fabric option, and so I selected fabrics, and you can see the design on the fabric, right? If I had choose color, you would just see the solid color, but this is the fabric. So it will not just show you the color of the fabric, but if you pick the fabric tab, it's going to show you what that fabric will actually look like when you select it. And so I was playing around with the options, and you can see some of the detail on these squares, right? So I think that's pretty neat. And then on the sashing, I just left it as color. So if you can see on the sashing and the cornerstones here, that is just what it's going to look like when you select color. And then the blocks themselves on the inside here, these are actually the fabric colors. So it's the actual fabric and what it will look like. So you've got the options to do that, which is pretty neat on here. Yeah, printer head needs to be cleaned, that's all. Yeah, just haven't had time to do it. Yeah, we've got it's on our to-do list, Faker Make Fake. It's definitely there. It's just we've got more important things to do, like quilts, right? So it'll have to hold off on us. Okay, so it'll even, like, you can title your quilt, so it'll put up here on the top. I don't know if you guys can see that. You can give it your quilt a little title, and it has here right on the top, overall size of the quilt is 22 by 22. So think about this. If I did each block at 6 inches, right? And then I did the sashing here at about 1 inch, you add all that up, you're going to get 22, right? So that's how it's actually calculating all of that for you, and you don't have to sit there and calculate it and try to figure out what your size is going to be. So it really does a lot of these things automatically. I just hate doing math, but you know, this is really, really easy, and it does it for you. So it's really, really nice. I do enough math at my job. I don't need to do it when I'm doing quilts, right? So this is really nice that it puts that. And if you change your block size or the sashing size, or you decide to add a border to it, it'll automatically calculate it with those changes. So that's really, really nice that it does that. Okay, so how do we get the different colors on the quilt? Let's take a look at EQ8 here. You've got your little paintbrush on here that you can do. You can look at all of the colors here. And let me see, you got the little arrows, right? And you can see here, and let me just open this up so you can see. These are all the different fabrics. Here's all different colors, and it's an endless amount. Like, you literally have all the colors that you're going to need. I'm going to just scroll. You've got the whole rainbow of colors to pick from, right? And they go all the way across. So you can, if you need to see these a little bit bigger, you've got some options here on the bottom, right? You can make them as big as you want or as small as you want. And this will just kind of do that for you. So that's really nice to have that option, because sometimes you're just not sure and you need to see it a little bit bigger. So you can do that down here very easily. But sometimes I want to see my range, so I'm going to keep it at the smallest just so I can see what colors are available on here. So let's say I want to change these colors up. Maybe I want to brighten it up a bit. Let's just pick a color here randomly. And let's say I want to go ahead and paint it. I can go ahead and go like this and just paint them one by one. Maybe I want to change it up and do different colors like this, right? And then I can just kind of go down the rainbow and you can see what colors will work and what colors will not, right? Maybe you can go back and you can change it. Maybe this is a little too bright. Maybe I want to keep it a little bit on the darker side, or maybe I want this to be lighter. I can change it to be lighter. You know, you can make all kinds of changes on here and you can play around with your quilt and you can just, you know, have fun with it and try to figure out what color palette you want to use. Maybe you want to keep this all kind of the same, different. I don't know. You can, it's your quilts. You can do anything you want with this, right? Maybe play around with the colors, put them in different positions. I mean, it is totally up to you what you decide to do and how you lay this out. It's really nice because you've got all kinds of different options on here and you can completely change this quilt around. Now, let's talk about the sashing, right? Because we've got some sashing on here. Maybe I want to put some sashing here and maybe I want the whole thing to be, you know, filled in with the same color. So you can see how easy it is. You can use your control key and you can go ahead and do it very quickly like that, or you can do it one by one. Maybe I want my cornerstones to be a specific color. I don't know, let's pick some color that we don't have. Let's see, let's pick this dark color right here. Maybe I want to do this. Maybe, no, I'm not liking that blue. It's not really going well with the quilt. So maybe I want to change it to something else. You can easily do that by just picking your other color and then hold that control key down and go ahead and click on it and change the entire, all of the cornerstones. Maybe I just want one cornerstone to change. Maybe I just want these to be just a little bit different. You can easily do that. Okay, so it makes it really easy to do and change things around. I can change colors. Maybe I want to put this as a little purple. I can do that as well. If I don't like the sashing and maybe I just want to change it up or see what a different color would look like, then I can do that. Maybe I want to keep the cornerstones all the same. I can basically change things all the time. Keep changing it up until I find something that's going to work and something that I like. So you can see here, get the idea how everything here can change. Now, you decide maybe after you do all of this and you've gone through all these steps, well, you know what? Maybe I just want to have this be a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. You can always go back to the layout and change up the size, right? Maybe I don't like these cornerstones and maybe I want to change up my border. I can do that. Maybe instead I want to do something a little bit different. There's all kinds of options on here. You can always go back to the layout to change it up and then just going to come back to the design and keep playing with the colors. Maybe you want fabrics instead of color. You know, you can go ahead. And that's a beautiful one right here. Maybe that's what I want to see right here in the middle. So maybe I can change it that way. And you can see what the actual fabric is going to look like for your quilt. So if you have a lot of fabric of a particular color or design, you can import that fabric and you can see what can I do with this fabric? What kind of quilt can I make with this fabric? And you can go ahead and play with all of the different tools that you have here, whether it's making a block or making a quilt, whether you're looking for a particular type of block. You saw how many different blocks were available on here. You can change them up and do it that way. Or you can just play with the colors, right? There's just so many options on this program that you can do that. And then once you have everything all picked out, let's say this is the quilt I wanted to make, I would just go to my print and export tab. You can print it, you can export it as a JPEG, you know, you can look at it, send it to Facebook. You can, you know, do all kinds of things and say, hey, maybe I need some opinions on this. And I can throw it out on Facebook and say, what do you guys think about this quilt? Maybe we can do this next week, right? And then you guys can vote on it, all right? So all kinds of different things that you can do here. And you can see here, you can print all kinds of things. It allows you to print the yardage. Maybe I wanted a template for this. Maybe I'm looking for foundation paper piecing. All kinds of things that you can do. A little bit of embroidery work. There's all kinds of things that this program gives you options to do. So it's a really powerful program, very easy to kind of move along and design your own quilts. There's tons of opportunity if you need any kind of help. There are all kinds of help available. You've got online support articles, they've got video tutorials, printable lessons. They even have lessons that you can attend at different locations. They put that out every year and they tell you what the schedule is. So if you wanted an in-person type of a classroom training, they have that available as well. And they have online also. So we've got a reference manual, a quick start guide. It tells you what's new because things are changing all the time. And there's all kinds of options that you can do on here. And I'll just go ahead and kind of scroll through those so you can see some of those. You've got your libraries, your block library, your fabric library, your layout library, your embroidery library, your photo library, and your thread library. So they thought about just about any kind of library that you could have on here. And these are the different work tables that are available when you first log into the system. Again, you can make a quilt, you can make a block, or you can do some image, and they call them work tables. So it's very, very versatile in terms of all of the things that you can do with the program. So I'm really excited about this program. And I think it's really amazing because you can just do so many different things. Think of all the quilts that you can make that customize them just for someone. I mean, I think it's just really amazing. It's, like I said, what in brilliance is to machine embroidery, this is what to quilting. And I think it's really, really cool. Now you've got different layers here on the bottom. I haven't played with these different layers too much here. But you can see layer 2, you can overlay applique blocks on the second layer. Then you've got a third layer. You can overlay quilt stencils. I mean, there's the options are just on and on and on. I'm still even learning about this school because there's just so many options there. And as I continue to learn and find fun things, I will share them with you guys because I think this is really amazing. Okay, yeah, I think Robin's Quilt Basket, I know you had mentioned that you use EQ8, so it's just a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun to be able to design. So although I do have, you know, all of my little books here, they can give me some inspiration and I can find some of the blocks just right here. Maybe I don't want to make an entire quilt like they have it laid out. Maybe I want to do something similar to what they are showing and just make it as a smaller project. This program allows me to do that. I can make it as big or as small as I want to make it, change things around. I just love the fact that I can really see what the quilt's going to look like without me even doing a stitch. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, Lori, it is cool. You definitely invest in this. Yeah, it's an amazing program. It really is. I'm really impressed with how well it is put together and how user-friendly it is. They've got little learning books that you can buy as well. I got a couple of those and I've used them, and I think it really walks you through through the program with little projects that you can do. And I think that's really nice that it allows you to kind of dive right in and kind of holds your hand as you go across using the software. So I think it's really amazing. So here's our little quilt here. I can go ahead, of course, and continue to do more work on here and just change things up if I'd like, right? So just go ahead and play with it. Have lots of fun with it. You know, there's so many things that you can do. I think it's an amazing program. So if you're interested, the link is below. Just use my link if you can. I really would appreciate it. It helps out the channel a lot. And I think this is a really fun thing to do. So I'll be doing a couple more sessions with EQ8 as we go along. Yeah, hit the like button, everyone, guys, on your way out. Don't forget to hit that like button because our hour is up. And I really appreciate all of you guys being with me here this morning. We've had a lot of fun. I hope I was able to inspire you to kind of just dive into EQ8 and just, you know, have fun creating something for yourself. Okay, guys, hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I hope to be crafting soon. Bye, everyone.
So long for now, so long. Glad you stayed a while. Hope you liked my crafting style. Hope I left you with a smile. By now, keep your mind and space clutter-free. Hope your day is bright as can be. So long, my friends, till we craft once again. Bye now, stay crafting. See you tomorrow. So long, my friends, till we craft once again.